let's make this easy.
Yeah.
You're on a date with a girl.
Cool.
She tells you that her ex was that guy.
Yeah.
And she had to help the police take him out. What do you
When
say?
they say take him out, we're thinking about the right thing, right?
She tricked him somehow.
Oh, what? And then they...
Yeah.
Nah,
Come to the window, sweetheart.
Yeah, that's a red flag, for sure. For sure, that's a red flag. I wouldn't even pay. I'd just leave. I'd just go to the toilet. I wouldn't even pay, man.
Famous Last Words is a psychological thriller that dives into the dark corners of guilt, justice, and revenge. What happens when your past catches up with you in the most terrifying way? McAllister weaves a tense, twisting narrative, leading readers questioning whether it's possible to outrun the consequences of their actions. In these notes, we'll explore the gripping plot, dissect the complex characters, and debate whether McAllister manages to land the perfect blend of suspense and emotional depth. So what did you think of the book?
It was all right. It was all right. I think it was an interesting idea.
Pause this video right now. Go and read Famous Last Words by
Gillian McAllister. When you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway, because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Aisha Library.
Welcome back to the Aisha.
And welcome back to I vaguely remember thinking that it was an interesting opening for many reasons, but I thought it could have gone in a lot of different directions that it did.
I think it's the same. What did you ask me? What do I think? I hear you ask.
I never finished my point. I realised the other day why I never asked, because I just haven't finished my point. But yeah, go on.
I think I've worked out what it is. I think all these books are written by AI. I think all of them are.
You think so?
Someone comes up with an idea. Someone comes up with an idea
Yeah.
and they say, "Oh, what if you wake up and you find out your husband's in a heist or in." Write this, and then it writes it, and then we just get this half-baked book, and it's like, yeah.
Art has always been a scam, though. When you think about it, it's always been a scam because it's very difficult to tell the good from the bad, and it's like it's up to whoever pretends they know the most. It's up to whoever pretends they know the most to force the others. Exactly.
Yeah,
so I remember we went to the National Gallery one time. You wasn't there, and it was a black painting, totally solid black plate with a thin yellow line through the middle, and that was it. That was all that was on the canvas. What are you looking for?
My water. Is it on the windows?
Oh no! But yeah,
it might as well be in China.
Exactly. There was a black plane with a thin yellow line through the middle. So loads of people standing around it like, oh my god, you can see the. I was like, you absolute wafflers. But yeah, art's always been a scam. How many
points have you got, by the way?
I forgot to put the numbers this time. I got 5.
I've probably got about that. Can't bother to count. I've got 4. I will go. You will go first.
I was about to say someone can't count. Interesting opening. Camilla is a literary agent who has just gone back to work after having her daughter. After her first day return to work, she discovers that her husband is missing. A police officer shows up to her door and notifies her that Luke, that's her husband, is involved in a hostage situation. Immediately, Camilla must be thinking, oh my god, how are we going to get him back? Yeah. To which the police officer says, well, funny you should ask, because he's not the hostage, he's actually the gunman. What do you do in that instance? The moment you realize that you never really know another person, you only delude yourself. Because I was thinking, what do you do if you come home and you find out that...
How could you do this to me?
Yeah, how could you do this? I thought I know this person.
You didn't even bring me in.
That's not where I was going. That's not the route I was going down.
Was it going down the same path?
Split the money 50-50?
How could you do this to me? Why didn't you bring me in? You left me out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, that is... you stupid mother...
I thought it was an interesting opening, to be honest. It's something that could immediately...
It's an interesting idea, but you got to go the right way with it.
It all comes down to execution when you have a good idea, to be honest. It's only half the battle. But I do like to give credit for when someone has an interesting opening. It's much better than a boring opening, right? Because we've had those too.
Yeah, I guess so. You're not wrong.
There you go.
But I don't know if I agree with you.
No, that's right.
So, first thoughts, and I immediately think the wife is in on it. Maybe it's all an elaborate plan. It'd be handy if the hostage negotiator was in on it too. Could the hostages be fake? Could the gun be fake too? I think I'm suspecting a life insurance job. This is what happens when reading a mystery thriller. I find myself throwing out as many wild theories as possible to cover the bases. Then, at the end of the book, I can claim that I knew what was going on the whole time. If you didn't deduce from what I said before, the police turned up outside Cam's address. They informed her that her husband is in a hostage situation in Bermondsey. Oh my god, she says. What are you going to do to rescue him? Rescue him, they say. Ma'am, he's the one holding hostages at gunpoint. We've come to get some information from you to help us take him out.
Jesus.
I must admit, I did like the internal monologue from Cam as she was helping the police. She felt like she was betraying her husband, as she should, because she was betraying him, like a traitor. So, do you co-sign her helping the police, or is that a red flag?
That's a good question.
Let's make this easy.
Yeah.
You're on a date with a girl.
Cool.
She tells you that her ex was that guy.
Yeah.
And she had to help the police take him out. What do you
When
say?
they say take him out, we're thinking about the right thing, right?
She tricked him somehow.
Oh, what? And then they...
Yeah.
Nah,
Come
that's
to
a red
the
flag.
window, sweetheart.
Yeah, that's a red flag, for sure. For sure, that's a red flag. I wouldn't even pay. I'd just leave. I'd just go to the toilet. I wouldn't even pay, man.
So should the wife not be helping? Should the wife be helping him take out the hostages then?
There's a difference, and I'm not saying this is correct either, but I'm saying there's a difference between saying, you know, I can't even think of an example, but like providing assistance to the police in the form of information and like calling this guy to say, come to the window so you can get topped. Like, that's different. That's totally different. The police may have even put pressure on her, like, tell us this, tell us that. That's different. Cracking under pressure is different. If you can convince me on the phone to come to my death, that means you're ice cold on the inside.
What if she didn't know? She said I don't know, they were doing a handing over coffee to build up some rapport, and the police, you know, saw the shot and took it.
Listen, I could never marry an imbecile. I could never marry an idiot.
That's my type, though.
You just don't marry them.
Attract.
Just don't marry them. But
Yeah,
real talk. I could never marry an idiot. Like, obviously, the armed police pull up outside your house. We just want to talk with the guns.
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
I don't co-sign anything. She should have said no comment and closed the door.
100%.
That's what she should have done. You
should wait for me to explain. What the hell?
Even if it does take 7 years.
That's my next point.
That's my next point as well.
Oh, no. A time skip. And not just any time skip. 7-year time skip. This is a whole different universe. This is a whole different book.
The main characters are different people at this point.
It's ridiculous. Like, we don't even care anymore. Authors' fascination with this literary device will never cease to amaze me, and how rigorously faithful they are to the trusty old combo of time skip and flashback. It's like ketchup and mayo at this point. Like Pornhub and Red Gifts. It's like it's an old trusty combo.
Yeah,
you know, you got that bookmarked, got it loaded already.
But I don't understand why. You know, some people use time skips and they don't even. Okay, so I've always thought that authors use time skips because they're unable to carry the narrative along. But some people, when they just finish a chapter, they just start a new chapter in a different place and different time, and our brain makes the connection. So we don't need to be using time skips. But let me get into my point. Wow, a time skip 7 years later.
Crazy.
Why? Why 7 years? Why did it need to be so long? That ruined the book. Whatever story follows a 7-year time skip is now completely unbelievable. Especially if you expect me to believe that Luke, the hostage taker, is going to be living in London for 7 years without being caught. Are you telling me that Luke didn't need a dentist checkup, a doctor's appointment, or any other medical emergency? Are you going to tell me that even though Luke was the most wanted man in London, nobody identified him? So, 7 years later, and still Liv is none the wiser in terms of what happened to her husband Luke. So my question is, how long is the appropriate time for your girl to move on upon your disappearance?
If we're married, life. If we're married, life.
Yeah, but she doesn't know if you're dead or not.
Life.
Till death do us part.
Yeah.
At what point is she supposed to assume you're probably dead?
She's not. Don't assume life.
Until she sees proof, then she's got to be with you.
Well, look, this is one issue that I had with Luke, because I just felt like I would never do what he did in this situation, because like he's not really giving her any options other than to assume that he's dead.
Not just that, but when you're in a hostage situation, you're probably going to prison for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you've blown people's heads off as well.
Not only that,
I honestly wouldn't even wrong her for downloading Tinder immediately. While he's in there.
As soon as the police said it.
Yeah. As soon as he's blown their head off, it's just like, yeah.
I got that in my hidden apps. Bro, don't worry about download. It's downloaded, bro. It's just in my hidden apps.
Log in.
You know when it needs your face to access the apps.
Premium subscription.
Come on. Super like.
Not only for
I'm here super like.
you know that, yeah.
So, 7 years later, Luke is still missing, and Cam wants to declare him legally dead so that she can sell their house. Disgraceful, isn't it? Adam is a client of Cam's, and he's posted her his new manuscript in the mail. Is anybody else thinking what I'm thinking?
Oh, so you saw that coming?
I said, maybe Adam is really Luke, sending Cam his scripts under a false name. I remember something about him being a writer. Obviously, this turned out to be not quite right, as Adam turns up to a party later in the book, but it would have been an interesting idea. So it was super confusing the way they decided to do it, and even the end didn't really make any sense, but
Yeah.
it was like Luke and Adam weren't the same person, but the manuscripts were Luke's. And he was sending them under Adam's name. But they weren't the same person. It would have been way easier to just make him the same person. So I don't know why. It's like the author saw that reveal, and she saw that avenue, and she said, let's half do it.
I didn't even see it coming, to be honest. I didn't see that coming. I just didn't really... I was confusing Adam and Charlie, to be honest. I thought she was having some funny business with Adam in the beginning or something like that.
Something like that.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe I actually meant Charlie when I wrote it, Maybe you've just reminded me, to be honest.
No, I think you was right. I think you're right, to be honest. I'm bored! Hello, Mr. Author. Can you make something happen, please? This is the problem with these shitty mystery books. The author literally has nothing to reveal to the end of the book, so they have to string us along for as long as possible until the end, where they can reveal the miraculous twist that we didn't see coming. At which point our mouths fall open in surprise and we rush to Goodreads to write a 5-star review, of course. It all feels a bit pointless. It's like kissing your sister. Sure, she's a girl, but why bother? What I will say is that author has done well in making Niall, who was the hostage negotiator, into an actual character. The story would not have survived without his introduction. Surprisingly, even his private life I found quite interesting. The story started with Niall going through hostage negotiation school. He also explained how it was a pointless course to take because in London there's so few hostage situations that he would mostly be stuck on desk duty. He was also simultaneously going through a divorce, which is always fun. Obviously, at this point, we can all tell that this isn't enough components for a book. I think even the author can tell, so she throws us a bone. Can you imagine a random woman approaches Cam to spill all her secrets a full 7 years later? The only problem is, she said, I can't spill all the secrets to you today. Let's wait until tomorrow and meet me somewhere safe.
Bruh.
And what do you think happened to the woman miraculously?
Of course,
the woman turns up dead.
course.
It's all for taking the piss.
Of course.
What are we doing
that's
here?
That's like Murder Mystery 101.
Do you
Like,
know-
meet me upstairs.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you everything about that. You're not making it,
It's
bro.
like, come on.
Because the book will be over then. You've got
It's
the
like,
keys to
come on.
end this book.
Why are we doing this?
The author has to
It's
kill
a
you.
joke.
Yeah, legit.
I took all... 0 stars. 0 stars.
Man said not even one.
Zero.
Zero.
You
just for
had
that.
one before, but that
Screwed
was
it
the
up.
nail in the coffin.
Yeah, you fumbled it. So the manuscript was actually a veiled flashback. They wanted to tell us Luke's story without directly having a flashback, and so we recount it in the form of a fictional manuscript that our main character is reading. Clever. It's still a flashback, but I feel like the author should get extra points for that. I've since changed my mind on this from when I wrote this note. I don't know if I feel like the author should get extra flashbacks for trying to give us extra points, for trying to give us a clever flashback, or if they should get less points for trying to give us the same
I didn't
flashback.
even really get that. I must have been zoned out.
Yeah, you probably did by then, to be fair.
Because
But
why am I listening to a book
Yeah.
about a woman reading another book?
Yeah.
This is bookception, as you said.
Yeah,
so
it
I'm
is.
just
It's too
like,
many.
shut up.
I was thinking, I like to reward effort, right? And she tried to conceal the flashback as something new, something creative, something innovative. So from that perspective, I feel like you should get credit for it. It should be acknowledged. But on the second hand, I'm like, you already had a blasted 7-year time skip. Now you've also got a flashback in it. You're a disgrace.
So you're skipping us 7 years forward just to bring us
Flashback
back
to the... Just a flashback to
minus
August.
1.
Oh my God, yeah, it's getting
What
worse.
was the point of that?
Yeah, it's getting...
Just
You
tell
undid
us.
everything you did.
Oh my
We didn't even
gosh.
know what she did, and she's already undone it.
What is that? No, I think I've just messed up my note up, but I'm going to read what I've got. Why do you think the author teased us with Cam moving on with Charlie? Why wouldn't she have moved on? Why wouldn't she have immediately moved on with Charlie then instead of having her in limbo? Yeah, instead of having her in limbo in terms of wanting to find her husband, but also wanting to maintain a relationship with Charlie, then we could have navigated that. You know, with her wanting to move on, but wanting to have her husband and whatnot. and then maybe the husband could come back and she'd be like, oh,
yeah, I was about to say that.
you know,
I
then
was
she'd
about
have to
say,
choose.
What do you
Then
do in
it'd
that
be so-
situation? Like, let's say, for example, obviously, God.
Both. What do you say?
BOAF. BOAF, both. But in that instance, you know, whether your girl's gone missing or whatever it is, a couple years move on, you've got a new girl, and then she comes back. Elijah, I've come back for you. In front of your other girl's there. She's
Come
here.
true. Come true. Yeah, some of the writing was interesting with this book as well, and then I've got one. I haven't really got one more point, but as I said, I've messed up my notes. But the book reads: it explodes in his mouth, slithers down his throat, sings to his bloodstream.
Yeah.
This was him. I think he was drinking a can of Coke or something.
Was
like
he?
that. Or his wine? Or
Was he drinking a can of Coke? Because you wouldn't be using them kind of words if it was what
Wait,
he was drinking.
that's what it said in the book. And also there was it's the same sort of indoctrination we see in these books with the I'm sorry I didn't put you first. Remember, Niall had this situation with his ex that they basically had a divorce because he didn't put her first. My man's not working in Tesco's.
Yeah.
He's a hostage negotiator trying to catch
Yeah,
a double
nah,
murderer.
100%,
And you,
100%.
I should have put you first. I'm so wrong.
It's so weird how this always happens though, because this is not just in the romance. Don't forget, this is also in, like, you watch a superhero movie, for example.
Yeah.
Peter Parker's here saving citizens. Mary Jane's like, you didn't come to my play. He's like, I just saved like 6 kids from burning building. You're here telling me about your play.
Exactly.
You even got fired. He was dead. But it's true. We've seen, in that book about Frida McFadden, there was a police officer and the main
boyfriend.
character.
Yeah,
The boyfriend. She was literally like, the only reason we're not still together is because you didn't put me first. I'm like, he's like a
Yeah.
detective or whatever. He's got actual crimes to solve.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a fantasy. Maybe women want to feel like I'm so important. This guy literally put down hunting for criminals to spend time with me.
Let them go free.
Maybe it's a vanity project.
It is 100% that.
The ending was incredibly confusing. Luke was recognized by the dead boy's father at the crime scene, and rather than telling his wife or the police or laying low, he decides to go to the funeral. As a lapse of common sense that sees him hunted by killers and forced to go into hiding in God knows where. This is one of those times you have to suspend your skepticism and just enjoy the book. And if you could do that, you have a future here. I thought that was really weird. So you stopped a shooting, there's a dead boy on the floor, and then obviously his dad's just come around the corner, whatever it was, and he sees you, miraculously, he sees you there, you run away, and then you show up to the funeral.
And then you live in hiding for 7 years down the road, because I'm pretty sure his wife ran down a few blocks.
Yeah,
and just
it was like
bumped into-
it was like uptown.
Yeah, like what?
So he never left.
Yeah, it was shocking.
Oh,
It's
and it
shocking.
was he was hiding in like it was like a park or something. It was like a cemetery.
lighthouse or
Was
something.
it? It was something like that, and it was called St. Luke's. And I was like, so they didn't look there. It's got his name on it.
Yeah, it was. How many stars would you give this book out of 5?
I would have said 1.
The
I
thing
would have
is-
said 1.
Maybe I'd say 1 because it wasn't boring. It wasn't boring right the way through. But it was just like, where is this going? Give us some action. Then we had the random, what do you call it? Dark net.
Oh, a dark web.
Dark web, that's
Dark
it.
web.
I sound like I'm old, innit?
Yeah, no, that.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like Facebook or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
100%.
The U-book thing. What do
U-book,
you young
the
people
my
call
book.
it?
Yeah, the my book.
Yeah, the dark net. The dark web? Yeah, the dark web.
Man's on Insta chatting. Insta chatting. Nah, bruh.
Yeah, we had a dark web scene with the police officers, and it was all over the place. The book was all over the place. It had no clear direction, and it was just rubbish. It's just rubbish. I wish I didn't read it.
I would have given it 1 star. I think 0 stars is a bit harsh, but
What was the other book we gave 0 not too long ago? Or 1 star.
good news, we forgot it because we must. Not
And we
want
said
to
we'd
remember
rather
it.
read God of the Woods than that.
That
What
must
was
have
it?
been really hard. That's really
It was
harsh. It
only
must have been
last
really
week.
bad though.
I can't remember what it
I'm
was.
gonna have to. Oh, it was the Briar Club.
Yeah.
Was it the Briar Club?
I would read the Briar
torture.
Club over. No, I'd read this over the Briar Club as well.
Yeah,
This
for sure.
wasn't. It was rubbish, but it wasn't that boring. I could read it.
Yeah, the Briar Club was rubbish and boring.
Oh yes, let's end with our quote of the day.
All right.
Quote of the day. I'm not crying because of you. You're not worth it. I'm crying because my delusion of who you were was shattered by the truth of who you are.
That's deep. That's actually quite deep. Yours are always like negative though. Yours are always like,
That's not negative.
Yeah.
It's real.
and that's what negative people say. I'm not cynic. I'm a realist.
Oh.
Quote of the day: if God wanted us to fly, He would have given us tickets. Well, you don't get it.
Oh, it took me a while.
Yeah, he's getting old.
That was wicked, but still. So that was supposed to be funny, was it?
The worst thing is when you tell a joke and somebody says, "Do you think that was funny?" Kind of.
Well, I did.
A little bit. I laughed when I read it. I said, "This is gonna bang."
You wrote that one yourself, did you?
No.
It seems like it. Well, yeah, I'm gonna take the victory on that one.
Well, this is fair. This is very fair. This is a judge and he's my opponent.
Yeah. All right. Well, look. If you, just don't read that book. If you're still not convinced and you think it's gonna be a good read, because I saw someone commented, I like watching your videos. It gives me good insight to what I should add to my to be read list.
You should have a to be not read list, and that would be a better thing.
Put
for this
that one
channel.
at the top.
Legit.
But yeah, till next time.
Till next time.